Hey everyone, it's John Catalfamo. I have just started a brand new podcast, and the name is Albany Art Talk. I'm here in Albany, New York, and I'm the owner of JC Fine Arts. I wanted to put together a show that we can have conversations with artists and people in the art industry, in all forms of art, and and hopefully it would add to the art industry and give young people some information to learn about what's going on. And today, for my first show, and everyone say yay, my first show, I have a good friend of mine I've known for over 40 years. He's a sign painter, an artist, and among other things, and he's been in the area for a very long time. His name is Frank Smith. And everyone, welcome, Frank.
Hi.
He owns a sign shop. What's the address on your sign shop, Frank? Where is it?
142 Catherine Street, downtown Albany, New York. And
Yes.
parking's pretty good there, too.
I've been there quite a few times. I
Free.
just couldn't remember the address. It's probably due to my advanced age.
Well, 142.
Well, Frank, I really appreciate you doing this, and pardon me, but I had to make notes because of the lack of short-term memory.
Well,
at
that's
my age.
okay. I've forgotten more than you ever knew, as we say.
Well,
But
the
I've
first
answers.
I wanted to ask you, because I've worked with you in the past a little bit, but we've known each other for a long time. And the sign business can be very rough, so I want
Let's
to kind of
work.
cover a few questions about the sign business. So, what was the thing that made you get involved in signs? How did you start that?
Well, not to be a starving artist. On the other hand, at the time, in my teens and my youth, I was the world's greatest artist in my own mind and in my own home. And it's just wonderful. But you got to make a living. So signs are the thing that people need. Art, people don't believe we need art. Maybe we do. How
Wh-
much we need art, who knows? Signs, people need.
Where do you get your inspiration from? What you create in signs and in art?
Oh, well, the signs, I do what I'm told. If,
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
yeah. And if people have ideas that I know aren't going to work for them, I speak up and we got a good dialogue back and forth. I don't feel like a used car salesman or even a new car salesman. I try to help.
Yeah.
What can you do?
I would imagine that's the majority of your business is helping people to communicate, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And communicate more than specifics, atmosphere. The signs help set the tone. Different kinds of decor and art all morph into the same phases on the same stages.
Well, on the art side, that a lot of people don't know about you, that I do. At least I hope a lot of people know about you, but let's hope that more will know about you.
Hmm.
Can you tell me a story or something that happened to you, or maybe a project that you were involved in that was just unique and a great deal of fun?
Ah, Lord, every one of them is unique. I know you're looking for a story. God, I mean, sometimes you're doing one thing and you find a wallet and you end up bicycling across town to bring it to somebody, and that completely disrupts the project you're onto. And
Yeah.
other times, somebody in a sign company is going up on a ladder and they find a gun and it's tossed up on the roof. And I wish I had that kind of excitement sometimes.
Well, a lot of people don't think of, and I've had people say this to me, that you're not really an artist, but I
Hmm.
disagree. I think art is sign painting is just as much an art.
Oh
It's
yeah,
calligraphy, it's hand lettering.
yeah.
Has there been any work that you did for any like motion picture or television or anything like that?
I'm trying to remember because the problem with video advertising. Yeah, I remember in the early days, um, Vandekar de Port and Johnson, an ad agency on Lark Street in Albany, had some big accounts. They used to be a big agency. They were in the top 10 at least in the region. And they had Green Mountain Racetrack. They had I think it was Key Bank. They had a bunch of good accounts, and they had one ad commercial. It was something about the world. I don't even remember who their client was. But it had to do with, I think it might, God, can we pause for a second? God, what was the name of that account?
Yeah, we might want to give us.
Anyway, I played a French artist in the commercial. And I could say things in French with an accent. I wore a beret. I had a mustache. And I played an artist in the ad. And it was broadcast over the region. And, oh, I love that. Now, I can't even remember the name of the sponsor.
Well, I don't think the name matters, but I think that, you've had some pretty intense experiences within the industry and far beyond just the Tri-City area, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to get called down to New York City a little more when the internet was young. Now they can find local talent that they don't have to pay to sleep on the train for hours each way. But yeah, I've done some nice windows.
Made a few trips on the train, have you, up there?
Oh, yeah. It's relaxing. Get to sketch, get to think.
Well,
Or
on the
sleep.
artistic side of it, I know that you've done illustrations and things, but there's this piece that you have over here. You get that?
Oh, that metal here.
You do sculptures and you make them out of what? Are these just household items, or it looks like keys?
Well, this resulted from a trip to the dump one day, or out near the dump. I think we were just driving past. That thing's getting larger every year, but a lot more of it used to be down near eye level. And somebody had left a bucket of keys.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the whole episode of finding it and making sure that I could have it, because brass has always had scrap value. But anyway, I got a bucket of keys. I was making junk sculpture back then, still halfway being a starving artist, and took a little while to figure out what to do with the keys. But eventually I figured I'd use them to make fish scales on some of my junk sculptures. And this one is one of my favorites, though. It's grown out of the fish.
Very cool.
Is actually a scorpion.
Ah,
And I even gave it a little Latin name because my wife speaks Latin. I'm into French myself, but Scorpio alba pacificus. And that's all.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's fun. And I was told by a former, no, I think he's still involved in the arts, by a gallery owner, if I don't reduce my prices on some of these fish and these things that are so labor intensive, I'm going to die with all of them. And that could well be, and I'll die happy.
Well, I know that you also do carving. This is an example
Oh,
here.
yeah.
It's a pretty amazing work that you do. You hand carve these things. I
Yep.
don't know if you can hold that side.
This end,
I
yep.
think that's amazing. I really
Oh,
do.
thank you.
Gold
Thank you
leaf
much.
and hand carved.
23 karat gold.
Ah,
Maybe 22 karat if I cheaped out. I don't know.
well, there's a way you can
It was
retire.
back in the day.
It's amazing, man. Really good. I'll put this over
This
here.
hung over my shop for many years.
I just think that your work's amazing. And you've been doing it for so long.
Those are
Who-
bedposts.
Who was one of your biggest art influences?
I'd have to say Norman Rockwell, Pablo Picasso, Robert Crumb, underground comics I grew up on.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of kids grow up on the superheroes, but they're harder to identify with.
You weren't. Were you formally trained, or did you just learn on your own, or?
Pretty much I don't know what the word is. I'm a good learner. I can steal and learn anything I need to know if I'm motivated enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the same thing for me. I didn't go to school or anything.
I took a course or two in high school.
Mhm.
Actually, I flunked out of Empire State College, where I took a couple of courses up at SUNY. And I had my heart set when I was 18 on doing etching and lithography and making lots of copies of all my brainstorms and my world's best art. Make copies, spread the word. And the etching and lithography processes were so toxic. I didn't want to lose that many brain cells and kidney cells and liver cells in the name of art. So I just didn't show up for class. And somehow I just, that was the best I could have, most motivated
Hmm.
I could have been. Nothing else in college was that interesting. I dropped. I had 1 year of college tops,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Well,
it's not everything.
we got one more piece up here.
Yep.
Looks like you've done some stuff for some
Yeah.
high officials.
Yeah. High places.
High places?
Absolutely.
How is that done? Is that a
Well, you start out when you're young. Crayons, pencils. You move up to pen and ink. In this case, I used the same pen and ink cross-hatching and tactics or techniques with sign paint and a long, skinny sign brush. And it's not that slow or difficult. It becomes second nature. It's very expressive. I don't know what to say for it. It's a great medium.
Mhm. Well, I know you've done window lettering. I've done it. I worked in the sign business for years.
Yeah.
What's that experience? Because I know my experience was that you got the kids, they're staring at you in the
I
glass
loved it. I
with
absolutely
their faces
loved
pressed
it.
against the glass.
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
letter,
yeah. Yeah.
What was that?
You,
How was
you
that like?
too. That's fantastic. In my case, they were impressed very favorably, but their attention span was such that, how much can you paint and still have their attention?
Yeah.
But there's a wow factor,
Yeah.
slow motion wow factor. But
Well,
those kids would have fun with my sign at the old sign shop because the sign bracket that held the sign up was attached to the building with a top support and a horizontal support, and they could shoot basketballs through that. They could also steal the magnetic signs off my car
how lovely.
and walk up the street, put them on the next car up the street for fun. As long as I knew what time of day it was. Are they going to school? Are they going from school? So I knew which way to look for my signs. Could tell you about kids.
Mobile magnetic signs, basically, is what you had there.
Yeah.
They had to
yeah.
transfer them all over.
Now, me being a kid and graffiti and all that, probably, we could go on about that too. But you didn't ask.
Oh, well, I didn't ask, but that doesn't mean you can't say. You were involved in graffiti? Did you
To
do some
a
stuff?
minor extent.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else who used stencils back in the 70s.
No, I didn't do that.
No.
So you're aging yourself there, but we both are kids from
Well,
the
you-
60s and 70s, so,
Takes one to know one.
I don't consider myself old. I consider myself like wine. I age well,
I have so far.
Mm.
I would challenge you to push-ups or something, but
No, you would win.
I would.
You would definitely win.
I know, but the last guy I should have. It'd be an easy $50 usually.
All right. Well, we'll see. Maybe.
Well, next.
Yeah. Next subject. Anyway, we don't want to test me with push-ups.
Hmm.
I know that years ago you moved from a location to a new location for your business.
I've been gentrified around for decades.
Yeah. Yeah. That had to be a big deal because I know you have a lot of stuff, a lot of equipment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a fair amount. Tools, the sign equipment. The workbenches. I've had to cut the legs off to take them out and rebuild them in a new place. Yeah, happens.
Well, I really enjoy talking to you, and I could go on for hours and hours with you because I've seen your illustrations and your work, and I have to say that of all the people I know in the art industry, I've known you the longest. I'd say.
Is it an industry? You
See,
keep
you've had
saying
this argument
industry.
before. Why is it not good to call it the art industry?
That implies mass production, loads of production. There's already so much art there. It's getting churned out, and we don't have enough walls.
Well, you got to understand they're coming along with this AI stuff. And how do you feel about that? Because I know I have my feelings about AI.
Well, it upsets me that there's so much tangible, physical art out there. And then when it's good, we make copies and prints,
Mhm.
and that's good for sharing good art. And now that AI's come along, it's just another tool. I've learned to use it. It's okay. It's like working with a 3-year-old that's a lot more literate and capable in some ways, but it's still like working with a 3-year-old, and
Yeah.
it's enjoyable.
Well, I find it amusing that you consider it working with a 3-year-old. I think that makes me somewhat happy because I'm not a big.
A 3-year-old that knows the entire dictionary.
Yeah, it has incredible vocabulary. I would agree. And most people our age are only familiar with Chat GPT, but there's so much more out there now.
Well, real AI knows how much you exceeded the speed limit on your way up here.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming and seeing me and sitting with me and talking and being my first guest.
Yep.
That's a big deal.
Yep. I've heard that guinea pigs. Well, never mind. We'll see what happens.
I never said you were a guinea pig. Not a guinea pig per se. But if it doesn't work, then I'll say, yeah, you're a guinea pig.
Yeah. Hey, I maybe you'd be feel ashamed enough to have me back.
I might.
Try again.
Actually do
Get it right.
We'll try again and see. And thanks for coming on to Albany Art Talk and spending this time with me. I really appreciate it.
Yep. And for what we've done so far, we should express some appreciation for the whoever has to edit this too.
Well, yeah. So, guys, if you want to know a little bit more about Frank, there's going to be a link below the video and here on the podcast, and I'll have other links to my site. And if you need art or illustration, or you're looking for a sign, this is the guy. Want, yes. Okay, sales tactic. And thanks for joining us, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, and bye-bye.